This security camera has a dual lens system, something like maybe your smartphone has. That's what gives it its 10x hybrid zoom. And right now, it's about 52 feet away from me, and it's recognizing that I'm a person. It understands to auto follow me. When it can, it's going to grab and capture my face, and it'll also capture audio. And the fact that it's capturing and doing all this on the camera itself means that there's no monthly subscription and everything is securely stored on the UniFi Protect NVR. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bogdan Ciperny, founder of Apex One IT. We do camera security. We just installed this UniFi G6 PTZ, and PTZ just means pan, tilt, zoom. This is from Ubiquiti, who makes this, and it works with the UniFi Protect system. In this video, I'll show you the install, what you can expect from this camera if you choose to buy it. And if that sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Let's go. The camera comes in at about 2.2 pounds, and it's roughly something like 4.2 inch diameter of this little turret ball kind of thing, and 4 inches sort of front to back as well. And then the top, the height here is about 8 inches tall. So this is for just the camera itself. It is ready to operate up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's rated, once installed and everything, IP66. So that's dust-proof and strong water jet proof as well. It is powered by PoE+, and it can consume a maximum of about 25 watts. If you're not familiar, that means it gets its data, your network connection, and power through the Ethernet cable. So you need a PoE+ injector or a PoE+ switch. But it definitely makes it easier for install just running one cable. And it does have one more quick last trick here. On the backside, if you just turn this manually, you can undo this and install a micro SD card just for backup recording, just in case something happens with the NVR. It can still record directly to the camera. You can download those footage remotely. Okay, so that's just a quick overview. There's that dual lens, some sensors, the light as well for color night vision, speaker, and reset port. Surprisingly, it actually comes with a lot of mounting options, a lot more than some of their other cameras. But there's probably the easiest is the pole mounting option I found, just for any camera. It's really easy to install. And this is good for a 1.5 to 2 inch diameter. They also have this kind of a dual use guy. Well, this is a pedestal essentially, or you could ceiling mount with this as well. So it can sit on your tabletop. It locks in like that, and you have a kind of tabletop PTZ, but also ceiling mounted. And there's that bracket for that as well. And finally, this one here is for wall mounting. So we will be using this, and there's a nice soft rubber grommet. But I'm also actually grabbing this optional mount. So this is a corner mount. This one's called G5 PTZ corner mount because originally we just had a G5 PTZ, but this is the G6. However, you'll notice that a lot of the G5 PTZ mounts, accessories, nearly all of them work with the larger G6 PTZ. So this is just a plastic cover, and we'll go ahead and use this. I like the corner mount. As you can see, it'll cover, 720 degrees, which is very nice. That's not going anywhere. Okay, then you'll need the actual wall bracket here from the camera itself. You can remove that grommet. You'll need it for later. This piece is from that corner mounts kit. And these smaller little machine screws are also from the corner mounts. Forgot one step, which is you want to feed this cable through here first. There we go. Then grab the grommet. It's gonna be like this. So first of all, you need to make sure this is gonna be like a outdoor rated cable, right? They're typically pretty stiff. So sometimes it's better to get like a jumper here instead. And I'll have that link for you in the description. It'll make it much easier because there's quite a bit of churning and bending the cable. So this just stretches over the connector. For now, that goes like that. And you want to align the dot on the camera. There's kind of a soft grommet here as well. This dot, and there's a dot kind of where my finger is. Hard to show you there. So first, Let's connect that. I will make sure the other end of your Ethernet cable is disconnected while you're doing this. Okay, then it's align. And you'll see it's all aligned up here. You'll want to grab the smallest screw to secure that down as well. Okay, and I realize I can actually connect this later. There it is, and you'll need a, for sure, like at least a Phillips number 1. A number 2 will not get this tiny screw. Yeah, and it will have to be this low because the cover is going to sit right there. There's that indentation, is going to slide down first, a little offset, and then slide back. And your last tiny little Phillips number 1 screw there. It does have thread locker on there, by the way, so just need to go lightly. Okay, then I need to secure this down. Okay. Okay, I just plugged it in, powered on the PoE, and is booting up. So you get that kind of chime. Looks like it goes to its default home position there. And there's our G6 PTZ. Adopt, just takes a couple of seconds. That's it. That's literally like 2 seconds, or 1. Let's go controls. There it is. What's up, guys? It's pretty bright. Take this for granted sometimes, how easy it is, right? Moment you plug it in, barely any configuration. It's basically good to go. Just look how quick. See my screen right there? I'm going a little slower. Watch this. It just flies. Pretty sweet. Home position. Bam. All right, let's take a look at the actual live feed here. So this is the G6 PTZ. And as you can tell, this is wide angle lens, right? There's the 2 lenses, a telephoto. So it ranges from 110 degrees field of view, horizontal, to 26 roughly. And just for some perspective, the G5 PTZ is about 100 to 46 degrees. So we can use mouse control here and just click where you want the camera to point, like center click, and that's where it goes. Now you do have, I think, tilt about 100 degrees. So if I can also use right here the keyboard. So this is all the way up. It's about 10 degrees over horizontal. Actually, right there is all the way up. So it goes 100 degrees tilting and all the way straight down. Okay, so that's your 100. Now it also has, it's a PTZ, so it pans as well. Roughly 360, technically it's 350 degrees, so it doesn't do endless. Now it's mounted on that corner. You can see if right there to the right all the way, and then it stops. And I can actually see both sides of the building, which is kind of cool. It doesn't spin all the way, but that's more than enough. You essentially get 360. Okay, and I can reset here to home view. I'll show you that later in settings where we can adjust that. Now, just to show you, you can use right here to zoom in as well. So roughly at about 5x is where it switches lenses. You can kind of tell how that's doing some kind of digital hybrid zoom or something. Okay, and you'll see here for sure. So we have a little sign up there, and if I go to like 6x, it will definitely change to that other lens. So let's take a look, and you'll see that right there, boom, and it's like super crisp again. Because it's on that telephoto lens. And then of course after that you can zoom in. Well, actually I'm on mouse control. If you turn off mouse control, you can also use your keys like I and R right there for zoom. But with mouse control you just use the scroll wheel, and I'm actually going now to, let's go 10x. So still very crisp, I would say, and that's that narrow field of view now, 26 degrees. And because it is 8 megapixel 4K, even zoomed in like this digitally is still I would say a very good image for what it is. Let me just go back, reset to home. It's kind of the fastest way to navigate. Well, sorry, not the keyboard. The fastest way is actually with these presets. So I have a couple set up already here. Well, actually all of them. Let's do a new one here. So for example, let's say I want to move the camera. Let me turn off mouse control, and now I'm using the arrow keys. Let's say I wanted maybe a view of this little bump, who's ever driving over. I just click S, save that preset. Right, I can click to go to that preset, Or for example, maybe I want to go to this entrance north. I can just hit number 8 to go to that number 8 preset. And there it is. Now I'm capturing whoever's going to drive in. So yeah, I think presets are probably one of the fastest way to navigate. You'll see it almost kind of instantly moves over and then it zooms to whatever position you had it in. Now, what's very neat about the G6 PTZ that the G5 PTZ doesn't have is patrols or patrol mode. I have one configured, but you can create a new one, for example, and just say which presets you want in here. Let's just do a couple here. Next, and I can control the duration. You can name this from 20 seconds to 1 minute. Okay, I can add additional, remove ones I don't need, create that preset, and if I'm ready, I can go live with that preset. Now, what I noticed is that when it's patrolling, it's, I would say, not as smooth. It takes its time more. It's a little different than when you're clicking around on presets, which is fine as long as you want to capture just what's in those preset locations. Okay, and you can see right here in this preset, I have it at, it should be 6x, which gives me a really good image, right? I'll probably avoid that kind of 5x thing, 4x. Yeah, you can see how it does take its time to move into position. This is, by the way, 10x. Again, I know in this preset, that's what I configured. And then we can stop this patrol mode if we want to. We can go back to home position, for example. The other thing I would definitely turn on here is this person, I guess not definitely, but most of the time I would name it person and smart zoom. So it'll auto track people, and we'll look at that in a second. And also zoom in as it needs to follow them more closely, get more definition, and hopefully get a face detection. Okay, so that's kind of our second hands-off feature along with patrol mode. Those can work together. In fact, if it is in patrol mode and it catches someone, it will interrupt patrol mode to keep following that person until they're out of frame, something like that, and then it'll continue the patrol. So let's go to our playback and let's go to like filter it to persons. These are all persons. You can see me in there. Let's do this guy, for example. So here, well, actually, what's neat about this one that I noticed, and I am, again, going over the internet, but this is high quality. Yeah, what's nice here is it actually, even all the way straight down, it can follow you like that. But what I wanted to show you was this. So it's following me into the shadow there. You'll see that it's zooming in already. It's kind of dark, but we should see a transition here to the other lens as well. So it's kind of losing me a little bit behind the gutter. Not really, actually got me real good. And bam, you see how it kind of went from the wide to the telephoto lens here. And now it's pretty sharp, and that green indicator is actually indicating that it's capturing my face. I would say this is much smoother tracking than the G5 PTZ. Not quite as good as the AI PTZ with the 22x optical zoom, but this is still very good. And through those trees, it's getting me no problem. Okay, so check out these. I want to show you this one. It's quite dark over there, right? I'm in that shadow. Okay, but you see, no problem. It's definitely using its telephoto right now. I'm about 120 feet to those doors, and it's capturing my face. Okay, so all of this here is roughly 100 feet. So you can see back of my head, obviously not capturing my face. Slightly kind of does sometimes when you're kind of quarter turn facing. So this is 100 feet I measured out, and no problem there. See, in that last one, I wish I actually zoomed in as much as it did here. Now, it's capturing my face very well there. This is I'm standing about 40 feet from the camera, so obviously not 100 feet, but still at that distance in the previous detection I showed you. Yeah, I felt like if it zoomed in just a little bit more, that would have been a little nicer. It's definitely leaving it open quite a bit. I guess maybe they're optimizing to capture more of the surrounding area. And here, let me actually give you some audio. Okay, now I'll download this clip and play it for you. So we have some traffic about 200 feet away from the camera, like the 6-lane roadway. And unfortunately, about 2-3 feet away from the camera up there is that, I think you say fluorescent lights. And it's making this annoying buzz sound, which you can probably hear in the camera. You actually can't hear that buzzy noise anymore, which is good. And I do have noise reduction on. And I'll show you that here in a second after we look at the license plate detections. Okay, so this is one of the presets I had, if you recall, at the entrance. So let me pause it. It's picking up the car. It's slightly off. That should be at 8 BVG. And okay, so the camera moves here because I had a setup in Alarm Manager where if a car enters the wrong way, like I did here on purpose, it actually repositions the camera. So that's one of the things you can do as well, is have Alarm Manager move your PTZ to a preset location like it does here. So that was 200 feet away. Okay, and here's, again, kind of a different view driving the other way. So same preset pretty far. So those cones, again, that crosswalk's actually like 200. So when it catches this car, you know, that's about 120 feet where it registers that license plate, and it drives all the way up, and that's no problem. That's exactly right on. Right, so you can tell this is, again, 10x zoom. So you can definitely get some good distance. I mean, this angle is right as well. It almost looks horizontal, even though the camera is about 14 feet up off the ground. And of course, when you're right by the camera, you're like even closer. As long as you have enough light, you know, during the daytime or a lot of light at night, that'll be no problem as well. Now, this camera does have night vision, IR of course, rated up to 100 feet. And it also has a color spotlight. That's really designed somewhere around 13, 14 feet to work. This is a lot further. This is like 50 feet where that car is. And actually it's on patrol mode. So it transition lenses again. That's a telephoto. Now that license plate is super sharp. And the LPR got it mostly right. The Q and the O there, it got mixed up. But for this place, it's lit decently. And you saw that right there. It actually picked her up as a person. So yeah, if you have no light at all, you'll definitely will not pick this up. Okay, so do not depend on that. But I mean, unless it's like even closer than that at nighttime, you definitely need some ambient light just to make sure to set your expectations right. So again, that's 120 feet from the camera. And she was picked up just for a second there at night. I think maybe if she had darker clothes, it would probably actually register better. For all the camera settings, you can click here on the gear. And well, actually we probably want to let's go to all device settings here. So first here under settings, this is where you set that home view. Now, I don't know why the sound is on here, but you can move it around. You can also first go in the camera view, set it where you want to, and just save it here. But you see, I can use the keys, save it to position, and click save. This is where you can name the camera like something actually useful. So if we go to image tuning, you can modify this, right? Frame clarities, maybe if you're going after license plate reading. I just keep this all as default, which is what this is, unless you have some particular reason. And the enhancer here, that's your color night vision. So when it's triggered by events, you can say how long that light will remain on. It is only up to 4 meters or about like 13 feet, something like that. So keep that in mind. And, I mean, my camera here is mounted at 14 feet. So someone really has to be directly under it. But there is actually ambient. There's outdoor lighting here. Now, when you already set the home position, you can actually go here to general. And what's useful to do is maybe turn off some extra detections that you don't need. So for example, if I go to my home view, see, I have cars, that main road there. It's going to keep triggering and capturing those cars. So I might want to add a different smart zone. Okay, so I can go something like this. I can say this is vehicles only. So we disable these. I don't need that spotlight. That's good. Click save. Okay, so I have vehicles only. I do want to modify the default one and disable vehicles. Okay, cool. Now usually, show the time, camera name on the video as well. One thing to keep in mind here, when you set these smart zones, it's going to stay the same no matter where the camera moves, at least as of now. So that would be cool if you can set this per preset, but still, I'm fine with losing that little bit of corner in order to avoid like extra detections of cars that are kind of useless to me. Then here is where I would enable noise reduction if you need to, like I do here in this location. It's just way too loud. It picks up quite a lot. So you heard that traffic from like 200 feet away. So status light, that's on the actual camera. If you're using tags, that's pretty useful, especially when you have like 15 or more cameras. And here's the general color night vision setting as well that we already saw. Okay, in terms of recording, I do, again, typically default settings and no motion events, so there's just gonna be way too many. So enable your AI detection. These are all the detections on the camera itself, everything that you can do without any additional equipment. And actually, I will set this to auto. You can edit in those smart zones here as well. So click apply changes. Okay, one more thing here, overview. So our connection is great, as it should be. this is where you want to go and create additional alarms, such as, triggering for other motions. What's important here is also that it has a micro SD card slot. So in case something happens, someone messes something up or the NVRs gets messed up, the camera itself can record to a micro SD and you can actually transfer footage straight from here. I just don't have a micro SD card in there, but you can do that. In terms of the other PTZs, if you go one step up, that's the AI PTZ Industrial, and one step down for $300 G5 PTZ. You can read through all the details. Of course, the biggest thing here with the AI PTZ is the 22X optical, also the IR. Now, if I just had to pick one, I would just say get the G6 PTZ. But in general, this would be my go-to for outdoor PTZ from UniFi, right? Because it has that 10X hybrid zoom, 5X optical really. And, it has two-way audio, better than the one without a microphone. Actually, AI PTZ does not have a microphone or two-way audio. So yeah, this is definitely my go-to outdoor. You not only get 4K camera here with their new sensors, 1/1.8 inch, but it also has patrol mode, which is just that's a crazy selling point because it can, in certain situations, it definitely can replace, a couple cameras if you use that patrol mode well, and if you don't have too much traffic, I would say. Now, $400 less, yes, there is the G5 PTZ and 2K camera. For that, I would say, especially with all the accessories they have and the in-ceiling mounts they have for this guy, then it's great for indoors. So for indoors, I'm most likely going with the G5 PTZ. This AI PTZ was that like $900 more than a G6 PTZ. You're going with the AI PTZ if you saw like in my video where that 10X zoom was just not enough for you. That's really where you want the AI PTZ. And you want just a bit more snappier AI PTZ. Now, if you're not sure if that's the camera for you, then I do have a full review here that you can watch and install that I did with the AI PTZ Industrial. I also show you how to use Alarm Manager with the PTZs, exactly, the steps so you can configure it. So I'll see you there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Take care.